Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. Tonight is a regularly scheduled meeting of the Edgewood City Schools Board of Education. The time is 6 o'clock and the date is the 29th of June. Mrs. Bauer, would you call roll, please?
Mrs. Lori Barnes. Present. Mr. Kevin Fall.
Present.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Present.
Mr. John Thomas.
Present.
For the record, Mrs. Amy Ashcraft is absent.
All right, if you would please stand, let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Tonight we have Mr. Jason Vance from Mount Olivet Presbyterian Church to lead us in prayer.
Mike, if you want to use the mic, sure. Just turn it on. Just press the button on forward. Give it a second. The mic, yeah, you're good.
All right, let's pray. Lord, we thank you for tonight. Thank you for our school district. Thank you for the good things that are happening. Thank you, Lord, for our children. Thank you for these kids. We pray they're having a safe and enjoyable summer. We thank you for our teachers and our staff and administrators. Lord, I thank you for our school board tonight. Lord, I pray for them. I ask that you would guide them in the decisions they make that would benefit our kids, our whole school district. I pray your Holy Spirit would give them discernment when there's important votes, and we just commit our whole school system to you. We pray that it would educate kids well, it would take care of staff and appreciate teachers. Ask the administrators that you would just help them to lead well. I pray for this meeting tonight. Just commit it to you in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please be seated. Okay, the second item of business tonight on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda? As amended.
So moved.
I'll
Okay, second. Mrs. Bauer, would you call roll, please?
Mr. Kevin Fall.
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes.
Yes.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Mr. John Thomas.
Yes.
That motion carries 4-0.
So we have no presentations for tonight. Okay, the fourth item of business tonight is public participation. I don't believe anybody has signed up. No one signed up, so we'll move on to the next order of business under public participation. Would like to provide an opportunity for anybody that's here for public comment on the issue of retire, rehire, and reemployment within the district. For the record, no one is here tonight. And then we'll move into the fifth item of business, which is treasurer items.
I would like to start first asking for a motion to approve the board meeting minutes from May the 18th.
Looking for a motion to approve the board minutes from our regularly scheduled board meeting on May the 18th.
So moved.
Mr. Kevin Fall, can I get a second?
I'll second.
Mrs. Lori Barnes. Any discussion? Mrs. Bowers, would you call roll, please?
Mr. Kevin Fall.
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes.
Yes.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Mr. John Thomas.
Yes.
That motion carries 4-0. The next agenda item is the May 2026 financial reports.
So I'm looking for a motion to approve the May 2026 financial reports.
So moved.
Mr. John Thomas, can I get a second?
Second.
Mr. Kevin Fall. Any discussion?
Another month at a positive. It was slight, but it was positive.
Take it as we can get it. All right. If there's no other discussion, we'll go ahead and we'll vote. Mrs. Bowers, would you call roll, please?
Mr. John Thomas.
Yes.
Mr. Kevin Fall.
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes.
Yes.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. I'd like to ask next for a motion to approve item C, the FY26 final amended certificate, and the FY 27 temporary certificate, item D. If we could block those, please.
I'm looking for a motion to approve the FY 26 final amended certificate of estimated resources and appropriations combined with the FY 27 temporary certificate of estimated resources and appropriations.
So moved.
Mr. Kevin Fall, can I get a second, please?
Second.
Mr. John Thomas. Discussion? Mr. Bauer, I'm sorry, go ahead.
From what I reviewed, it didn't, what changes were there?
I'm saying.
What changes were there, if any, from the last certificate?
Well, obviously we've got some money in and expenditures, so we just continuously update. I will share that the FY 27 temporary is just exactly what it is. It's temporary. We won't know what our salaries are going to be until we get all the contracts ready for September. We're also going to do the 5-year forecast in August. Just a reminder, that's well before we're going to see our fall property tax. So again, just constantly updating.
Any more discussion? All right, Mrs. Bauer, would you call roll?
Mr. Kevin Fall,
Yes.
Mr. John Thomas,
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes, Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. The next agenda item is a resolution declaring the necessity for the transfer of funds. If I could get a motion to approve that.
I'm looking for a motion to approve the resolution declaring the necessity for the transfer of funds.
So moved.
Mr. John Thomas, can I get a second?
Second.
Mr. Kevin Fall, any discussion?
I have something to say about this one. I have been working for a couple years. This stems all the way back from when this building was built, and there was a fund out there where one was part for the state, one was part for local resources. It was never closed out. It should have been back in 17. So a couple years in, and I noticed this fund wasn't doing anything, started digging a little bit. We had to get our attorneys involved, but finally got permission from the state. We were able to show that all of these funds were local and not state. So we worked with OFCC, also Legislative Government Services, and just now got this approval to transfer these funds. So they have been sitting in this fund 010 as long as I've been here, not able to be used. So now that we have everything cleared, we want to move this to the 003, which is a PI fund that's recommended. I didn't care where it went, I just wanted it in a permissible fund. It was doing us no good where it was. So we are very excited to finally be getting this taken care of.
Mrs. Bowers, you talk about, would you give us a number in terms of the dollar amount of these funds?
Yes, it's $349,000. I mean, it's collecting some interest because it's in the bank, but it was not where we could use it.
Right.
So it was for construction projects, and obviously construction's been done for a long time. So,
Last
This building came in under budget now.
yes, it did.
Yes.
But we can now use that for geothermal. We have other issues here in this building that,
So maybe I missed something. I thought it said 381,000.
let me open it up, Mark, because I didn't open it.
It's 349.
There you go.
451. 349, 104.
So what is this number right here? The 381.
That's what we had to return back to the state, and it happened in 2017.
I got you.
So the attorneys drew this up. We pulled reports of everything from that 900L, which was local, 900S, which was state. We had to send it, we had to get the auditors involved, we had everybody digging into this. It almost takes an act of God to do something like this, and we initially thought we were gonna have a court order. But once we got in with the legislative state government and the attorneys getting involved, they were able to finally give us permission with our documentation that we had to verify exactly what the funds were, that we could move this into the PI.
Okay. Any more discussion? All right, Mrs. Bowers, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. John Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Kevin Fall?
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes? Yes. And Mr. Mark Messerschmidt?
Yes.
That motion carries 4-0. The next agenda item is the FY 26 year-end advances, transfers, and the return of advance.
So I'm looking for a motion to approve the FY 26 year-end advances, transfers, and FY 27 return of advances and transfers.
So moved.
Mr. Kevin Fall, I'm looking for a second.
I will second.
Mrs. Lori Barnes. Any discussion?
Want me to talk?
If you would, please.
Okay, so the 006 food service fund, that is negative. It happens every year, so if we pull from the general fund, you can't close with it negative to offset that deficit. And then you're gonna see further on down that we're gonna return that as soon as we open up July. The June 26 transfer from general fund to the 035, that's to cover severance. I think maybe all of you were here when we started that last year, the 035, but that fund is used specifically for severance. That June 26 transfer, that's that resolution that I just asked you to approve, is showing this money's going over into the PI. And then we used to have to also advance money into our grants that are negative. We no longer have to do that, providing we have a PCR submitted. So that's showing you those funds are negative. We're leaving them negative because we have a PCR to cover that and just waiting for the funds to be deposited.
So with this food services fund, did that negative balance get bigger this year than it was in the previous year?
It did.
A little bit. Why is it getting bigger? I
Well,
thought we were,
We lost a little more money this year than we did last year, due mostly to all of our snow days. Probably, honestly, having not had those snow days, we probably would have
been about 40 ahead.
40 to 50 ahead. But those snow days cost us about between what, 80 or
I think it's
90,000.
92,000 for those.
so you know why I'm asking.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I kind of thought we were going to be going in the other direction.
Well, we hope to. I think we would have. That kind of hurt us. I think there's still a little bit of things we can do on our end to improve. We had a meeting today with Chartwell's, and there's things I think we can key in on this year. There's things we can control, like obviously we can't control the weather, we can't control snow days, but there's times in the building schedules where kids aren't eating lunches or breakfast. We need to eliminate those and reduce those to absolute necessities. We've already talked to the principals about that. Again, because that costs us money. And we have food waste, we have food costs, personnel costs, and we don't make money, so it's a negative. Too many of those, the calamity days, and then I think there's still a little bit of a learning curve with the ordering and production. We've got to fine tune our production and ordering a little bit in-house. I think me being more hands-on with that next year will allow that to happen. We've talked to them about maybe scaling back the menu a little bit to make things a little bit easier and focus on what we know it performs well, and because we have a year under our belt to see what products the kids really like. So I think we've learned. So with all of these things, I think we're going to approach the new year with a better plan. And barring any unexpected outcomes, I look forward this report next year to be more positive.
Okay, me too. Any more discussion? All right, Mrs. Bowers, call roll, please.
Mr. Kevin Fall?
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes? Yes. Mr. Mark Messerschmidt?
Yes.
Mr. John Thomas?
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. The next agenda item is a new fund special cost center. If I could get a motion to approve that, please.
Looking for a motion to approve a new fund special cost center.
So moved.
Mr. Kevin Fall, looking for a second.
Second.
Mr. John Thomas. Any discussion?
And I share?
Absolutely.
Mrs. Lindsay White actually applied for a grant. We have a need here in this district for evacuation chairs. We didn't get the full amount. We'll have to put in about 3,500 or so, I think. But this is to help cover the cost of evacuation chairs that will be compliant in every building with this purchase. So
What was the total of the grant?
10,000. Let me open it up.
10,584.
10,584. Well, that was great work by
Yep.
her. Any more discussion? All right,
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Great work.
It was actually our PT, Becky Miller, who did most of that legwork. But
Awesome.
thank you.
Well, thank you, both of you, because you guys did a great job. Mrs. Bowers, would you call roll, please?
Mr. Kevin Paul,
Yes.
Mr. John Thomas,
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes,
Yes.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. The next agenda item, I'm asking you to approve retroactively, and it is a document for the election of continued legal representation for Ms. Pam Lice.
Looking for a motion to approve the election of continued legal representation using our previous attorney, who would be our new attorney, Mrs. Pam Lice.
So moved.
Mr. John Thomas, looking for a second.
Second.
Mr. Kevin Fall. Any discussion?
So I did reach out to each of you. We learned that Pam had moved into another firm. She had a few things going on with us that we wanted her to continue to work on, mostly personnel issues, but because those cases were already open, we can always evaluate. This is in addition to, we do not have to leave Ennis Britton. You can use as many firms as you want to, but given that she had this history and had time invested, we needed her to continue on in the few things that we had going on. So
One thing I don't know, does the cost of her services change with this new firm?
it's the same.
It's exactly the same?
Yeah.
So is there any reason why we would want to stay with the previous firm?
I just wanted to give Jeff time to get in. I know he's also worked with Ennis Britton. We're fond of Pam Lice in our district. She just knows so much. She's been with us for a long time, but we do want Mr. Madden to have a chance to share his thoughts on it as well.
Okay.
So we thought just keep them both on until we get him in the seat and let him.
Okay. Any more discussion? All right, Mrs. Bowers, would you call roll, please?
Mr. John Thomas.
Yes.
Mr. Kevin Paul.
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes.
Yes.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. The next agenda item is the Gateway Education, or what we call as SAVAS or SAVAS. It's a quote for MAP curriculum.
Looking for a motion to approve the Gateway Education DBA Savas FY27 quote. Mrs. Lori Barnes, I'm looking for a second.
Second.
Mr. Kevin Fall. Any discussion?
Mrs. Beckett, would you like to speak to what this is for? Share
Absolutely,
anything?
it is for kindergarten through 8th grade. It is a program we currently have. We'll just be extending that out for 3 years. It's considered the top of the line program through ed reports through the Department of the Ohio Department of Education. It still meets all of the gateways that we need to hit with meets expectations. So it's still a solid program. Our teachers are familiar with it. And I'd like to give them time to continue to dive in there and make some changes. We still need to make some changes in how we're presenting our math.
Will teachers get more professional development
Yes.
opportunities with this throughout
Yes.
the next school year?
Yes.
And again, you said this is nothing different, it's just a continuation of what we were already doing?
Correct.
Okay. Any more discussion?
I did share with Kevin earlier, you see 2 lines on that first page. They're just allowing us to pay for a portion of it now and then a smaller portion in the next year.
All right. Mrs. Bowers, would you call roll, please?
Mrs. Lori Barnes,
Yes.
Mr. Kevin Fall,
Yes.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt,
Yes.
Mr. John Thomas.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. I'd like to ask if I could block item J and K. This is Acclaim Home Health and Maxim Healthcare.
All right, I'm looking for a motion to block the Acclaim Home Health Care FY27 service agreement and the Maxim Healthcare FY27 service contract.
So moved.
Mr. Kevin Fall, looking for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Lori Barnes. Any discussion?
Yeah, I had questions on why we need 2 after reviewing them. So I'm sure there's some reason that there are certain services that certain nurses can and can't provide, but just some clarity on why we need 2 of them.
Yeah, so, we currently have actually 4 different nursing providers. We have 4 students in the district in private duty nursing. Each of these kids were using their home care provider as well for continuity of care. So I did look at this. Acclaim is significantly cheaper. It's like $10 an hour cheaper. That particular student, his mom is actually a nurse. And so we contracted with them separately because he was missing so much school because he did not have nursing. So we added that contract probably 5 years ago. We used to use only Maxim. We had some trouble getting nurses here. They would call off or they wouldn't have enough and then kids couldn't come to school. So about 4 or 5 years ago, we started just going with only 4 kids. We started going with just whoever provides their nursing at home is who we also have providing in school. So if I'm with a kid during the nighttime, I'm also going to bring them to school.
Thank you for the clarification.
Great. Any more conversation? All right, Mrs. Bowers, would you call roll, please?
Mr. Kevin Fall,
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes,
Yes.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt,
Yes.
Mr. John Thomas.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. The next agenda item, I'd like to ask for a motion to approve the HPC FY27 service agreement.
I'm looking for a motion to approve the HPC FY27 service agreement.
So moved.
Mr. John Thomas, I'm looking for a second.
Second.
Mr. Kevin Fall. Any discussion?
This basically just helps parents in the schools navigate getting money back to us. Is that how that works?
Helps.
I always forget, it helps us.
It helps us.
Just providers. So any student who receives Medicaid, we do a blind bill, and when we bill, we get reimbursement for services. So every student who's identified, we have them sign consent, yes or no, and then we bill for reimbursement. We've been using a company called Boad Solutions or Asset Works, that's what the contract has said. We're switching to a different provider for next school year. That's Ohio-based. Boad Solutions is not, so they're dealing with Medicaid in lots of states. HPC is Ohio-based. And Patty and I have had countless meetings with them, and we feel like this is going to be a better company to help us get more reimbursement.
Okay, that's what I thought they did, but I just wanted to make sure.
Okay, great. Any more discussion?
And the way I understand it is, per this contract, they basically get us back more in Medicaid than what we pay them to audit and double check and help us facilitate reimbursing those funds.
Yeah, oh yeah, I don't know, Patty, how much we get back.
A lot more than.
It's a lot more than this. We also, as part of their contract, there is a line of reimbursement for what we're paying for their contract, which we did not have with the previous company, which will also be helpful.
Good.
Any more discussion? All right, Mrs. Bowers, would you call roll, please?
Mr. John Thomas,
Yes.
Mr. Kevin Fall,
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes,
Yes.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. The next agenda item is the HCESC Assistive Technology Consortium FY27 contract.
I'm looking for a motion to approve the HCESC Assistive Technology Consortium FY27 contract.
So moved.
Mr. Kevin Fall, looking for a second.
Second.
Mr. John Thomas. Any discussion?
Lindsay, do you want to talk about what this is?
Sorry, I have
Go
lots of
ahead.
contracts on tonight, guys. Sorry. This allows us to borrow assistive technology from the county instead of buying it for ourselves. So we get usually 15 to 20 iPads a year that we use as communication devices for kids. We use like little pins and switches and all kinds of things like that. Those are very expensive to purchase, so we just borrow them each year instead.
The cost of this contract is $8,755. All right, any more discussion? Mrs. Bowers, would you call roll, please?
Mr. Kevin Fall,
Yes.
Mr. John Thomas.
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes,
Yes.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. The next agenda item is the Emergis FY27 service contract.
Looking for a motion to approve the Emergis FY27 service contract.
So moved.
Mr. Kevin Fall, looking for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Lori Barnes. Any discussion?
This is personnel-based services. I do want to share, we came to you a while back and asked you about increasing the salaries for school psychologists. We did that and we interviewed and we still got no hits. So we have to have the service.
So this contract is by the hour? Is that how do we pay this?
I think we get a monthly bill, and I think it does break down. Let me go find one real quick. Lindsay does approve these when they
I
come.
believe it's by the hour, Patty.
Yeah.
We pay an hourly rate for a school psychologist. He works the same number of days as teachers here who takes the same number of days. He's our middle school site. He's been with us for this week's 4th year.
So it's the same man, or the same
Yes.
person we had last year?
Same person from last year, just new contract.
Just out of curiosity, and this isn't a question to try to stump anybody, but the hourly rate that we pay him, how does that compare with the hourly rate that we offered to try to hire somebody?
I think the hourly rate we pay the company is more. He's contracted through that company. I don't think he makes quite that.
Right,
They'll
right.
think it's more.
I guess what I'm asking, is it cheaper to do this, or is it cheaper to offer $1 million to try to get somebody internal to us?
It would be better to have someone.
But we just can't find anybody, so we really don't have a choice.
Yeah, because as you mentioned, that's when we previously had increased that.
Yeah, created a new salary schedule.
Or
One
it's still
applicant
not.
that interviewed for that psych position, but it was still not comparable to what she's now. She's a veteran psych who applied, so it was still not comparable for her to make the switch.
Are school psychs not just coming out of college? They're all going to the professional
Very
side.
short supply right now.
Yeah, they're all going to more educated.
Okay, it all makes sense. All right, any more discussion? Mrs. Bowers, would you call roll, please?
Mr. Kevin Fall,
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes,
Yes.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Mr. John Thomas.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. I'd like to ask to block letter O and P. These are both Warren County ESC quotes, one for extended school year service and one for OTPT.
Looking for a motion to approve the Warren County ESC ESY Services Contract quote for FY27 and the Warren County ESC OT/PT FY27 quote.
So move.
Mr. Kevin Fall, looking for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Lori Barnes. Any discussion?
So this is another contract here, we just cannot fill these positions, so again, we're having to contract for these services.
Tell me, how many occupational, how many physical do we have?
We have 2 full-time OTs in-house. We're contracting 8 more days, so like 1.5. That is 1 more day than last year, just based on caseload numbers. We had to add a day to meet the needs of the kids we have identified. PT, we have 9 total days. That's all contracted. We've never been able to hire a PT. I did interview about 4 different people for these positions. We were very hopeful, Mrs. Beckett and I, and they also turned us down. I will tell you though, of 3 of the 4 applicants were coming out of college with a doctorate degree or OT and PT licenses. So they have a ton of experience, and the majority of them are going to ESCs or the medical industry.
So if we were to hire OTs and PTs to supplement this, how many would it take?
It would be 8 total days, so 1 full-time and 1 part-time.
Okay. Any more discussion?
8 total days for the whole school year?
Sorry, no, 8 days a week. So
8 days.
that would mean somebody's here full-time and then somebody else is here 3 days a
Person
week.
and a half.
So the counties can do that, right? Because they'll hire someone full-time, place them here 3 days, and place them at Ross for 2 days, something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But we're at least a person and a half for that school year, but, I mean, for $430,000 of required service, we're starting to think about maybe need that.
Yeah, so the 400,000 is for OT and PT, so
Uh-huh.
that's 2 full-time, 3 full-times and 2 days. So
Okay.
it'd be 3.5 people.
Okay.
Yeah, it's expensive.
And thank you, that's the math I'm doing in my head, right? Like, when you look at some of these contracts and services, it makes sense that, I understand you gotta pay for administration and all those other things that they're paying to service sending somebody, but when you start talking about those, it starts making you think a little bit and doing that math 2 times in your head, making sure it adds up, so it just off the cusp asking those questions, so thank you for that detail.
Well, not that this makes it sound or feel any better, but you're not considering fringes too, right? Because-
Correct.
So
Yeah.
that kind of helps out a
They
bit.
retired anyway.
Yeah,
Right.
I understand.
Not that that changes a whole lot, it's still expensive, but
Just
This is
wanted-
one we have bought for years, OT, PT, we interview, we try to do our best. We had a couple OTs, we used to staff all of our OTs and just contracted PT. We've had a couple leave, one was downstate, one was left last minute, we've not been able to fill those 6 people plus. So the 2 that are here have been here, and I anticipate them staying, so, yeah, it's frustrating.
At least the continuity does help instead of having a lot of turn.
And it does help that the folks who send us from Warren County have been the same people for years. They feel like ours, right? But
Good.
great. Any more discussion? Mrs. Bowers, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Kevin Fall,
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes.
Yes.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Mr. John Thomas.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. I'd ask for a motion to approve the surrogate parent FY27 contract, please.
Looking for a motion to approve the surrogate parent FY27 contract.
So moved.
Mr. John Thomas, looking for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Lori Barnes, any discussion? Mrs. Bowers, would you explain what this is?
I'll let Mrs. White explain this.
I'm almost done. We have to have a surrogate parent and board approved on ready to go for any student who does not have a parent available. So this is billed on an as-needed basis. The person we used previously was recommended by Mrs. Ashcraft, but she's no longer serving. Her name is Carly. Becky is the surrogate parent that services Hamilton and many other districts in the area. So I think she's a good
Crazy, it only costs $25 per hour.
Yeah, anymore, they join virtually most of the time, so it's a decent kind of side gig for them, and she services lots of districts, so. Should be minimal cost throughout the year.
I just don't want my kids thinking I'm only worth 25 an hour.
Any more discussion? All right, Mrs. Bowers, would you call roll, please?
Mr. John Thomas,
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes.
Yes.
Mr. Kevin Fall,
Yes.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. I'd like to ask for motion to approve the Universal Transportation Systems FY 27 contract.
Looking for a motion to approve the Universal Transportation Systems FY 27 contract.
So good.
Mr. Kevin Fall, looking for a second.
Second.
Mr. John Thomas. Any discussion?
Yes. I know it's, do we still shop these every once in a while?
We do, so we currently have a contract with Edgewood as well, which is another company. We started using them about a year and a half ago. They are more cost effective if you're transporting numerous students from one place to another. They charge by trip
Right.
versus kid. UTS charges per student. So when it's a single rider, we use these for special education placements and McKinney-Vento, so students who are displaced and living in another district. We use UTS for single riders. We use Ever-Driven when we can group kids together that are close by. These bills are like one of the most expensive I see every month. They're crazy. They get worse as the year goes on because more kids are displaced and we're transporting. So to a point, yes, we are trying to shop around the best we can and make sense of what.
Don't get me wrong, Liz, I mean, they used to do a great job. UTS.
None of them do a great job. I'll be honest
Yeah,
with you.
yeah.
I mean, there are issues with all of them. All of the transportation companies are being late. They're frustrating to parents for sure. So,
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
yeah, sorry,
Thanks.
John, it's not great, but we do have a group of students that go to one placement, and Patty and I talked a little bit about this earlier. You know, sometimes we are able to transport them ourselves, depending on the amount of drivers we have and routes available and things like that. When Shane's able to staff that okay, the issue becomes you're trying to run routes everywhere, right, to get all of our kids to school. When you have 3 or 4 kids taking up one route, that becomes the one that you have to give up, right, to transport the masses. So we work on that too every year. Like, can we transport this small group to this facility because it would be way cheaper to do it ourselves? When we're able to do that, we will, to be more mindful of the cost too.
They also offer mileage to parents. That is a lot cheaper.
Yes, last year we paid 4 different parents' mileage. Which
Good.
also
Just don't always
makes
want to do that if they have to go to work. Or
Right.
We do have the 2 vans.
Too big.
It becomes a staffing issue. Like she said, if you got 50 kids on a bus, where these 4 in the van, and 2 or 3 drivers call off, these 4 are likely not gonna be taken out of the district. We're gonna pick up 50 in the bus.
And what kind of facilities are we transporting to, just for discussion?
Yeah, so we transport to ADS, which is a school for students with autism, and we transport to Union Day, which is a behavior school, like over by Jumping Jacks, kind of on the Liberty Center out that way. ADS is near that area too. There's like a pickleball court, I'm sure she or we transport students to our buildings that are displaced, living in a motel or doubled up in a surrounding district. Hamilton and Middletown are the 2 largest we pick up from. We do split that cost with the district through the McKinney-Vento, but that's the number that grows pretty rapidly through the school year as students lose housing or things happen.
Okay. Thank you for the explanation and the insight. Any more discussion? Mrs. Bowers, would you call roll, please?
Mr. Kevin Fall.
Yes.
Mr. John Thomas.
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes.
Yes.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. I'd like to ask if I could block Fitzwater Commercial Services quote and the Normac Company quote.
So I'm looking for a motion to approve the Fitzwater Commercial Services quote and the Normac Company quote.
So moved.
Mr. John Thomas, looking for a second.
Second.
Mr. Kevin Fall. Any discussion? Give me a little detail on some of the things that we're working on here, some of the projects that we're doing.
Absolutely. This is work that's going on and will be paid for out of the field renovation fund. Scott had presented several quotes down there. You can see those. He recommended that we go with Fitzwater for the painting project. Also bringing Normac back in to do some drain work for us. He's done a pretty good job for us. So it was Mr. Clement's recommendation.
Paving around the new
Yeah.
addition to such drain work, paving.
We're still happy with the work they did last summer with the park on it.
Yeah, we had to tear a little bit up. We had a water leak. We're gonna have to repair that before the end of the summer.
Is that
And we're gonna do some
right out
crack
there
fill.
in the middle school parking lot?
It's right in front of the field house.
No, it's not the spot I'm thinking of.
We're gonna do crack filling, where you put the drain, where you put the curtain drain out in front of the middle school. We don't have the cracks, but there's probably still some water underneath the upper lot of the board office lot. We're seeing some cracks.
That's what I'm talking about.
He's just gonna crack fill. We didn't put any drainage there. We didn't know about it. There's no water. So it's just something we gotta keep an eye on. I mean, looks pretty normal and pretty harmless, but we need to crack fill so it doesn't get worse.
I think it's important to note too, when you say field renovation fund, that was corporate sponsored money. That's what
Correct.
we use it for our
That's
advertising.
a great
dollars.
point.
Yes, that's what we use our advertising dollars for that. And all the corporate sponsors were aware of the things that we were going to use that on. So like expansion of the concession stand, like all the different stuff, we presented that to them. There's been a couple of things that we had that, and we presented that to them before they went ahead and signed up.
Did you add that, Scott?
No taxpayer dollars.
And those buildings, Fitzwater, I mean, it's the north concession, the north restaurant, the fan barn, the concession, the new expansion, the ticket booths, and the field house, so that entire area gets painted with that. Down there, it's not just that concession, it's all the buildings down there. It was 2015 was the last time we had those all done. And, Mr. Knapp and I called all those companies. Fitzwater had the best as far as understanding the paint quality, the quality of the seams, the sealing of the new brick down there and stuff, so we have got a good plan in place and ready for it.
But there's no taxpayer dollars involved in this, it's all
a state
corporate.
renovation project.
I knew that, I just wanted to hear you say that.
Say that loud.
Well, thank you for getting that many quotes, because reviewing them, there was substantial difference in
Yes, it was.
the quotes.
Yes.
So,
I've got business on
Any more discussion?
it. No.
All right. Mrs. Bowers, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. John Thomas.
Yes.
Mr. Kevin Fall.
yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes.
Yes.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. The next agenda item is ETSS of Ohio. This is a quote to remove hazardous chemicals from the high school.
Looking for a motion to approve the ETSS of Ohio quote.
So moved.
Mr. Kevin Fall. Can I get a second?
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes. Any discussion?
Could I ask Mrs. Steele to share with you again? She's talked to some of us here about these chemicals, but just for the record, so that you know what is being stored and
We did an inventory this year and we found some chemicals that are no longer being used by the chemistry department. Our chemistry teacher wasn't sure what these chemicals were for. Some of them are around, years old. They've been moved from building to building. We just have never gotten rid of them. opportunity. So some of these chemicals, you know, we pulled everything that we don't use, we don't know what it's for, or that it's expired. And then the chemistry teacher and I went through everything. We safely disposed of everything we could safely dispose of in an appropriate manner. And what's left, after careful research, is everything that cannot be safely disposed of and needs to be taken by a hazardous waste company. You know, that's, and we want these chemicals removed because there's no point to them. The chemistry teacher would have no reason to order these same chemicals again in the future, and they're a hazard both to students and staff.
So what kind of hazards are we talking about?
Well, they cancer causing, if they're, you know, released into the water supply, they can cause major damage to aquatic life. They're mutagens, so they can cause, you know, all kinds of issues. They're toxic, a lot of issues. Some of them are in solid form, some of them are in liquid.
So I don't want to like sharpshoot, but why do we have hazardous chemicals? I mean, I understand, are these really necessary to have in our high school?
We don't know. We went through all the chemicals that were in our back rooms, and we removed everything. And you know, our chemistry teacher, she's like, I don't know what this is used for. I've never used it. I don't know it's there. But they've been there for maybe 30 years. So it's the reason for why they're there is lost in time.
Crazy science teacher blowing stuff out their lab.
So, I know we have replacement schedules for things. I don't know how to incorporate that into a process, but how do we do a yearly inventory and kind of keep track of that to know when those, because yeah, this may be an expense, but if you do that on a routine basis, it wouldn't be that bad. So I don't know how to incorporate that into, just like you do with bus replacements or whatever it may be. Like how do we incorporate that into a check and an inventory and disposal process and schedule? I think would be helpful for the future. Thank you for taking attention to that and make sure we get it cleaned up. The only other thing I did mention with Ms. Spears was, and Patty, is that I would contact the county solid waste to see if any of them on that list they could assist with, just to reduce the cost per this quote. And I don't know if that would be possible or not, but I know they do certain recyclings and different items they can sometimes take back from not only residents of the county, but also businesses within the county, but that'll just have to be a request beyond this.
I'm just curious, like, are you the department head? Like, are there department heads?
I was last year, yes.
So that's what I would think is like, and I don't know if that's a paid supplemental or.
It is.
Okay, so my suggestion would be is that that's just a routine thing done every year by whoever's the department head.
Science department head.
Yeah, because like you said, it would be probably more, you know, reasonable to maintain and handle if it's done every year.
Well, I know, speaking with our chemistry teachers, you know, the chemicals that they use nowadays are not of the same caliber of what we have left.
Right.
They, you know, like I said, she was not even sure what some of these were for, and you know, what labs you would use them in or anything like that. They use safer, more easily obtainable, less expensive chemicals. So it's not something that would have to be done even on a regular basis, the removal of these, you know, these dangerous chemicals. It's just something that's been a long time coming,
Neglected.
and it would be a one in maybe 15, 20-year thing. But I would hope in the future, you know, there would be no reason to order these chemicals, you know, again.
Well, thank you for the time and effort you
Yeah,
put into finding this, because obviously when I hear we've got dangerous chemicals in the high school, that obviously concerns me, and I'm sure there was probably a lot of effort on your part identifying what you could and going through this process to get it out of here. So thank you for that. But it does concern me that we've had hazardous chemicals just laying around here for literally decades, right? So in my line of work, we try to find the root cause. I don't think we'll be able to find root cause here, but I think maybe we look at ways to put processes in place where this doesn't happen again. I don't know what that is, but I think Kevin's onto something with, you know, annual inventories and maybe a little bit more scrutiny around what we're ordering. And maybe these chemicals aren't as readily available now as they were
They might not be.
20 and 30 years ago,
Right.
but we certainly don't want this kind of stuff in our buildings if it has no reason to be there. So again, thank you for getting it out of here, bringing it to light. You know, it's $5,125 to dispose of this stuff. But the bigger thing to me is the safety aspect of it, right? Having this stuff in the buildings. Okay.
Now, I do have, I'd like to ask. Back in 22, the environmental health specialist came in. If you remember that, Mr. Gagan? Okay. And this, you obviously have to be marked, have to be in closets, or they have to be disposed.
They were in acid cabinets and flammable cabinets. They were in safety cabinets.
I wonder if they got put away and then everybody just kind of, you know what I'm saying? But Mark's right, just have the process in place. But through the environmental people, we had them in for 22.
I don't, I never saw any of that.
Yeah, and that was supposedly taken care of.
I would say, if I can speak to Mr. Thomas, the science department's done a good job. They spent the last 5 days during the exam time trying to clean up and organize all this stuff. After it's been that way for 15 years since the building's been there, but things have been moved from the old high school to the new high school, and even it's done some damage to some of those safety cabinets.
There's corrosion in those safety cabinets.
Okay. I just looked it up, but that's what.
Are these the standard yellow metal
Yes,
cabinets that are grounded?
Mhm.
And do we need to order more of those? Do we need to replace them?
No, they're still functional.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any more discussion around that? Thank you again for digging into that. This is stuff we don't want laying around.
Yes, Shelley had, received a supplemental, and she wanted to contribute that back toward this cost, so we wanted to recognize her, for doing that.
Absolutely.
That's very generous. Thank you.
I feel it's very important that these towns will be there.
I do too. Thank you. You did a great job with this, and really appreciate you putting safety first for our kids, because it's been neglected for a long time. It took you coming along to clean it up, so thank you. Any more discussion? Mrs. Bowers, would you call roll, please?
Mr. Kevin Fall?
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes?
Yes.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt?
Yes.
Mr. John Thomas?
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. I would like to ask if I could block the ServPro contract and the Spectra flooring quotes.
So I'm looking for a motion to approve the ServPro contract and the Spectra flooring quotes.
So moved.
Mr. John Thomas, can I get a second?
Second.
Mr. Kevin Fall. Any discussion?
You'll remember that ServPro is managing the flood that we had
Correct.
over at the primary building, so that's what that contract is. We have received money from insurance. Of course, there's still additional work ongoing, hoping to get this wrapped up and have that building ready to go when school starts.
Yeah, because we had approved the initial payment, correct?
Yes,
Like this is just the
yes.
final detail of that and the
Yes.
insurance.
One more, there's still
Yeah,
one more.
there will be,
Right.
we're not done.
Those were reconstructed, those were remediation, now we're into reconstruction.
Okay.
So do they, I mean, they're comfortable coming in and getting this done by the time school starts, that flooring?
Yeah, the flooring will go fast, they've already done the demo work, we're waiting on, the swing, I think they're scheduled.
Okay.
Product,
This,
So that's already been demoed out, which is a big part of it.
not so.
no, the flooring quote.
Yeah, but that's what a lot of
For
certain
tile?
contract is.
I thought that was here in this one.
No, that's Spectra's the
Yes.
kitchen.
That's what I'm talking about.
We're talking about Servpro right now.
I thought he was
No, I'm
talking
talking
about.
about Spectre, I'm sorry.
Okay,
Oh,
he is,
Spectre.
Spectre is here for the high school.
Yeah,
I
they-
thought that's what you said.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so they go good, they can get it done in time.
Oh, yeah, they're doing it, they're doing demo, we already got them scheduled, it's a couple day process. We're doing it 2 phases, the
But
front.
it's all coming out, right?
Yeah, but not at the same time. We're doing part of it this summer, and we're gonna do part of it next summer.
Okay.
Because the back half is gonna be more involved, because there's all of the equipment that's got
Right,
plumbing
that's
attached
what I was
to it,
thinking.
electric attached to it. The front half is gonna be a lot quicker and easier, so we're doing first. And that's where all of our problems are right now, but
Right.
it's gonna all match when we're done.
And then we checked the warranty on this, and there was no warranty. There was
Correct.
no warranty. Seems crazy. The school's been open for 14 years.
And it appears to be due to poor craftsmanship
From the beginning, yeah.
from the beginning. Not enough, material down under the tile, just letting go.
Okay, thanks.
So this Surf Pro contract is $277,000. This is because of the flood. We're getting this money back, right?
Yes.
It's
We've
insurance.
got part of it,
So
Yeah.
this money will be reimbursed.
correct.
And then, and I can't remember the plan, but it was, we were gonna upgrade some of the floors in addition to the work that they did.
So we're putting a nicer gym floor in than just
Right.
the tile. It's a little safer, it's got a little more padding, it's a little like safer for a fall. It was a little bit of an upgrade, and we were able to do that, we're making all the hallways match, but some of the classrooms that weren't impacted by water, we could have replaced those to match, so they all match, but they had no water, there was no damage to them. We opted to not do those floors, to be able to do a nicer gym floor, to offset that cost. The hallways are gonna match, and they're gonna transition nicely into the classrooms, but the classroom floors were fine.
Will all the classrooms, they're all the same now? So
I'm
when you
sorry?
transition into the classrooms, they're all the same now?
Yes.
Okay. All right, and then the Spectra, you said that's in this building here,
Yes.
right?
High school kitchen
Tile.
serving area,
Okay,
two phases, this summer and next summer.
all right. Any more discussions? All right, Mrs. Bowers, would you call roll, please?
Mr. John Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Kevin Fall?
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes?
Yes.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt?
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. Next agenda item is for Foosball Clubs USA. It's an MOU. This was presented to us by Mr. Gagan here at the high school.
Looking for a motion to approve the Foosball Clubs USA memorandum of understanding.
So moved.
Mr. Kevin Fall, looking for a second.
Yeah.
Mrs. Lori Barnes. Any discussion?
I
Mr.
read
Gagan?
some interesting stuff, but this definitely piqued my interest. I didn't know foosball was making such a comeback.
So, Mrs. Shin told me about this. She was at a conference in Columbus. Said this organization does activities like this for PBIS points and things. So they give you 2 foosball tables to set up in your school. The only thing they ask you to do is take pictures of kids using it, descriptions of that, and then also repairing damages. Right now, the guys, typical damage is maybe $100 a year. And that's typically if it's in a place where open access to it, we're probably putting in a common room. Yeah, so you guys competition stuff here, what kind of school culture fun.
What's the room you're putting it in, you said?
The common room.
I don't know that I've ever played foosball.
We'll have to play with students.
Yeah, I may have to come give it a shot. I don't know if I've ever done that. Any more discussion?
No cost to the district, it's just signing up except for the minimal maintenance crew.
Any more discussion? Mrs. Bowers, would you call roll, please?
Mr. Kevin Fall?
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes?
Yes.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt?
Yes.
Mr. John Thomas?
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. The next agenda item is the Atrium Medical Center, First Amendment to the sponsorship agreement.
Looking for a motion to approve the Atrium Medical Center First Amendment to sponsorship.
So moved.
Mr. John Thomas. Looking for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Lori Barnes. Any discussion?
Mr. Philpott, take it away.
Now, this is just our trainer basically with the Atrium, and they're kind of phasing out, paying for that. We're gonna kind of be starting to phase in the cost of our trainer. We're not giving away the big contracts like they used to. So our original contract, which is also attached there for review, was 3 years ago. So the 3-year contracts, this is considered the first renewal. And you can just see there's a rent, they call it a ramp up, where we'll be paying about a third each year,
Yes.
extra third of the trainer costs. So $25,000 this year, $48,000 next year, then $74,000, and then whatever cost increase there is beyond that. And they're also they're not given the same amount of money. They're kind of phasing that out, phasing out the bucks and phasing up the costs. That's the trend. That's just the nature of this business.
I think it needs to be noted, this is not an Edgewood thing.
No,
This is an
everywhere.
Everywhere.
This
Yeah.
contract is boilerplate with everybody.
And other school districts around, the same thing. Actually, that happened to them a couple of years ago. They're just not getting to us because of the length of our contract.
So what was our athletic trainer cost this last year?
We didn't pay.
Zero.
That was part of the contract. They provided that in exchange for, referrals. They get referrals from trainers to their providers. So,
And then their sponsorship, as they pay towards those sponsorships, are also reducing.
we're ramping those down. They're going away in 3
So
years.
it's a double whammy.
Double whammy.
So if this is going to be required, I'm sure this is required by the state, that we have this, correct?
Well, we have to have training.
Right, but I'm saying though, so like, we need it for our safety, is the state or anybody helping to chip in on this?
No.
So my other question to your point is that this is common for all districts in the area. Is that with Atrium only, or is that with all the other facilities coming in, whether it be Kettering or Beacon, or? I can't speak for Beacon per se. I know in the past we've talked to Kettering. I'll probably need to turn that over to Mr. Clemens.
Beacon's pulling out a lot of schools too, they're not expanding. It's, hey, we got schools we got, we're not looking to move in on anything. Like Kings is gonna hit that, they got that building that was done for them to Beacon, I think it's now their responsibility. I don't know if you see Spring Grove, they built that big care flight facility, and they basically said, hey, this big building we built is now yours, but it's your responsibility to maintain it up, keep it where out of it. But the nice building there for them, they're not taking care of the more sprinklers on the for building now too.
If I may, I say, thank you, next, this, I can't remember when it was first started. When it first started, it was like a 6-figure thing, sponsorship and all that. Kind of like the soft drink people. We first switched from Pepsi to Coke, we got $150,000. Switch over, now we'd be lucky to get $15. And then when COVID hit, all of the medical facilities started reevaluating what their expertise, what they were doing, so on and so forth. We started seeing more and more of this happening. There may be a couple schools out there that are still under contract, that have a contract in place. Maybe they did a 10-year versus a 5-year, 3-year. I mean, there could be a few, but the schools I talk to, it's just gone away. The trainer's not going away, but the idea is they're going to get them to
Do colleges, like Miami used to send athletic trainers, do colleges still not do that anymore? Oh, day-to-day?
student intern type stuff.
Yeah, because like, when I was in high school, we had a person from Miami that came over, who helped me as a student intern, like I did athletic training. So they don't do that anymore, the colleges?
We've had interns, we've always asked, to help Joe out, just like I said, in the fall, we got so many different sports teams in so many different areas. We've got lucky, we've got an intern here and there, have to get their hours in for the co-op, but besides that,
We used to also, and maybe I just thought of this when she mentioned that, we used to have like a team doctor and an athletic trainer.
yeah, so Dr. Quick's still over the building and they attend all the home football games. There's one on site, and then still Dr. Albright, and all them are still at the primary orthopedics for referrals.
Is it still the same trainer we had last year and the year before?
Yeah.
So nothing's changed there?
And that's the thing is there are a lot of schools that kind of boring and play the game and went somewhere else and they're having a hard time keeping the trainer down. Or it's not like OTPT, like once you kind of get one, if you get them to stay, it's great, but they're bouncing to other schools or like Lori said, Miami University, UC has an opening, they try to move up in the ranks, they don't stick around the high school.
How long has he been with us? As long as I can remember.
Yeah.
6 or 7.
At least.
Long time.
He was here during COVID.
So he's got a history with our kids.
Yeah. That's a big trust factor you get too, just like
Yeah.
teachers or nurses in our buildings, the families of the kids, and have multiple kids, that trust factor, and the ability to have communication with parents and all that.
More than 10 years ago, Madison, which we are on State Route 122, which is one of the busiest roads in Butler and Preble County, and we were trying to give naming rights to our stadium and our field house. We were trying to get turf put down. We shopped catering, because we knew they were up and eating. We were shopping Premier. We shopped everybody. We couldn't get anything. That's 10, 12 years ago. So this isn't a surprise, honestly. I thought they might continue to pay for the trainer because they do get, there's like rights to the referrals and things like that. Apparently that's going away too.
Crazy question. We're required to have an athletic trainer. Does it have to be an atrium athletic trainer?
No, I wouldn't recommend it. We could hire our own trainer, that could be something down the road.
They could, but there's some language, there's some language in there.
I think what you get to is that licensing is part of that
Right,
trainer.
first refusal.
They're attached to a medical person. We include them ourselves, I don't know what their credentials would tie them to.
In 2032, we could maybe do that.
Why 2032?
Because that's
This
what our
contract.
Oh.
Well, when it renews, they have right of first refusal.
Right.
So whatever we do, if we went out and hired the trainer, they would have the right to match that, per se.
So this is the first renewal. There's 2 renewals of the original contract.
Gotcha.
It's 3 years.
Yes.
2,000, I think. The first one's 10.
Any more discussion? All right, Mrs. Bowers, would you call roll, please?
Mr. John Thomas.
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes.
Yes.
Mr. Kevin Fall.
Yes.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. I'd like to ask to block item Z, the Forte quote, with 8A, the InformaCast renewal FY27 quote.
Looking for a motion to approve the Forte quote and the InformaCast renewal FY27 quote.
So moved.
Mr. Kevin Fall, looking for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Lori Barnes. Any discussion? Mrs. Bowers, can you kind of highlight what these are?
Is Ryan still
Yeah.
with us?
Yeah.
You want to talk about these?
Yeah, so the Forte quote is with Jason Girat, who we've used in the district a lot for any kind of audio. He did this projector and stuff in here. The projector's purposes are the classroom. They're important, they're used all the time. And We had a chance to replace them all in the high school, I think last summer, but the other buildings haven't gotten a big refresh. So this, these are for projectors. As they die and phase out, the bulbs are harder to find for all the older ones. Sometimes they can barely be seen even when the lights are out. So, and then the Informacast is our emergency notification. So basically, the admin's phones will be notified whenever a 911 call is made within the district. It tells you where at and who, what the room on that, what the name on that room was that made the call to the 911 or whatever the case may be.
Thank you for that explanation, Ryan. I know for me, I read through both of these and had no idea what either one was.
Yeah.
So,
So
just a quick jot on the side, like, so I was like Epson BW7, like I knew it was a projector.
Yeah, it's our interactive projectors, which most of our teachers all use. Has not only the video, but it has the USB function so that the teachers don't have to go back to their computer to control. They can use the interactivity function and control the icons on their desktop from there. So.
And then the other one, it amazed me when I read through that one. It literally was 4 pages.
Yes.
And never said a single word of what it actually is.
Yeah.
So
that got put in about, I think I was here like 8 or 9 years ago when they switched to IP phones. This was a service that they got for this purpose. The nurse has to call the admin if in their office gets a notification right away, so they know what's going on.
Thank you.
And it is a 3-year renewal as well. It just came up this year.
I'm not an expert on projectors, but I've bought projectors before, and these are about $1,700 a piece, which seems like that's a pretty reasonable price to me based off of some of the ones I've seen and how much we pay. So it seems like a fair deal.
Yeah, the good thing about these also, the newer ones, they are laser, so there's no more bulbs. Get a lot longer, better quality. I mean, when we did this building in particular, the difference was unbelievable. And the teachers let us know too how much better it was.
Okay, great. Thank you. Any more discussion?
How many times on average a year does the system trigger for the Informacast?
Just whenever, I mean, I've seen the nurses have to call. I see that often, or a special ed room.
I would say
4 times at the high
I
school.
got it this year. If a teacher calls 911, my phone starts alarming. Curtis's phone alarms
It's happened.
4 or 5 times this year.
Mr. Gagan said 4 times this year at the high school it was used.
Thank you.
But it's nice when those you're sitting in your office.
Yes, sir.
They hang it to radio, you get that message quickly, like what room it is.
Yep.
So you know what's going on.
Any more discussion? Mrs. Bowers, would you call roll, please?
Mr. Kevin Paul,
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes,
Yes.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt,
Yes.
Mr. John Thomas.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. The next agenda item, I'd like to ask for a motion to approve the donation as presented.
So moved.
Second.
I'll second it.
I'll second it.
I didn't ask, but,
John. then-
Oh, I'm sorry.
John.
John and
My bad.
Lori.
I'm on a roll. I've done that twice in a row.
So, looks like we got a donation in the amount of $97.95 at the EECC from an anonymous donor to go towards school lunch charges.
Yes.
Well, whoever that donor was, thank you very much. Mrs. Bowers, would you call a roll, please?
Mr. John Thomas.
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes.
Yes.
Mr. Kevin Paul.
Yes.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. The last agenda item is informational items from the treasurer. I went back and watched our last meeting, and I know there was some discussion about athletic handbook versus extracurricular handbook. Mr. Clemens was able to update those areas as noted, so you do see extracurricular in that handbook. I've attached it here. I believe Mrs. Ashcraft said there was no need to reapprove that, but she would like to see that it said extracurricular, so it's there. Also wanted to share with you real quick, because this comes up often here. On June the 15th, we did get our threshold cost, or what we've always referred to as catastrophic cost. We got more back this year, but because it comes up, I think we filed like for 1.4 million. It came back in at 25 cents on the dollar. Again, this is less than the year prior. This is another one of those pots that just keeps dwindling away. But we got $363,531 back of the 1.4 million that we filed for. And I just wanted to share that. I know, Mark, you ask all the time, are we getting any of this back? So it's about 25 cents on the dollar here for threshold cost. So I just wanted to show you. And you can see there, I put out there were $90 million across the state that were filed. So
I really didn't think it was that low. I actually thought it was more than that.
Oh.
That's terrible. Wow. Okay. All right.
that's all I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that, Patty. So the sixth item of business on the agenda is superintendent items. Mr. Philpott.
Okay, item A, this was for approval tonight. You had an opportunity to review the elementary student handbook last month. This, if you refreshed, I think we had the wrong one attached there, but it's updated. That's the one that you saw last month. This is literally, these are just changes to the handbooks that reflect recommendations from Neola because of legislative and legal changes. Jenny's here. I didn't see, I think Molly's still out with her mother. She had a passing of her mother, but Jenny's here if you have questions. The highlights should be in yellow, and again, most of those changes just reflect policy changes in Neola. Just ask you to approve the elementary student handbook.
So I'm looking for a motion to approve the elementary student handbook.
So moved.
Second, Kevin.
Yes.
Mr. Kevin Fall, looking for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Lori Barnes. Any discussion? Mrs. Bowers, would you call roll, please?
Mr. Kevin Fall,
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes,
Yes.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt,
Yes.
Mr. John Thomas.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Item B is the middle school and high school handbooks. Again, we do a secondary handbook, so they mirror each other. So Mr. Gagan and Mr. Ayers have updated that. Again, most of those changes reflect just the requirements in Neola to reflect legislative changes. Of course, they've done their changes, whether it's schedule, bell schedules, time, staff, and such. But Mr. Ayers and Mr. Gagan, I think, they're both here. If you have any specific questions about changes to their secondary handbook.
So I'm going to get a motion first. So I'm looking for a motion to approve the EHS EMS secondary handbook.
So moved.
Mr. John Thomas, I'm looking for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Lori Barnes. Any discussion? Anything in here that y'all want to highlight that might be different from just standard Neola changes?
It's that we're going to be more consistent on cell phone from building to building. Mr. Gilbot, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to do it where after the second offense, you have to call the phone, parents pick up the phone. That's what the middle school does, and I think it's very consistent. That's a discussion.
Good. Will be a pushback from me. Any more discussion? All right, Mrs. Bowers, would you call roll, please?
Mr. John Thomas,
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes,
Yes.
Mr. Kevin Fall,
Yes.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Informational items, I actually got a couple. One I would have added as an agenda item. I just got news from Amy kind of late after we put the agenda together. I'll add that. But before I do that, later on, when we come back from executive session, I'm going to ask the board to approve a new varsity basketball coach. Boys, we hired a new girls coach, I think last month. And unexpectedly, Mr. Osterman chose to head back home to Monroe, which wish him the best. But we had a very great candidate right under our own roof here. Hall of Famer, Edgewood basketball royalty, in my opinion. And Xavier's here tonight, and I'm excited. I know he's excited to get back on those sidelines here at Edgewood. So you'll be voting on him later tonight. But I knew he was here. I wanted to acknowledge him. It is my recommendation for the boys varsity basketball coach.
Absolutely.
And the other item that didn't make the agenda, but the last couple of months we've talked about pay to play, and we've toyed around with some ideas about potentially reducing the pay to play fees in hopes that we could maybe bolster participation. If we can lower pay to play and increase participation, then it's a wash financially. And participation is not, it initially took a hit and then it kind of recovered, and it's been growing the last couple of years based on the data that Scott provides and also Paige. So we talked about maybe lowering that. And, it's risky though when we're looking at a deficit situation for the district, and we're not even covering our costs with the $500. So it's kind of a risky thing, but it's also, you don't want it to be a barrier. So I threw out a couple of proposals of $400 and $350, and then Kevin brought up a good point because he's kind of got the eyes and ears of the community about how free and reduced and are paying nothing, and we're very kind of on an island. Not many other schools do that, and I did talk to Pam about that, and there's no real legal basis for that. I know Scott. I asked Scott to find out what other athletic directors and other departments that don't give a discount or do free for free students. They all pay the same. It was on the advice of legal counsel. It is probably more legally defensible for everybody to pay the same. There's no case out there. There's no history. So we're on solid terms doing what we do now, which is we have 3 rates. We have regular, we have free, and we have reduced. Legally, the opinion of our attorney is everybody pays the same, is more legally defensible. If there were to be an issue, and I think that's maybe why most other schools have opted to have one fee structure. However, we're a lot higher than most of our neighboring districts that Scott's talked to. So, there is the idea that we could lower pay to play and potentially charge a small amount for students on free and reduced lunch, because there's 312 students that don't pay a dime that participated, 312 activities that weren't paid for, which is about $156,000 that we more or less donated to families, which is awesome, because we don't want it to be barriers. But for parents that are paying $1,000, sometimes that might be a little bit of a rub. And part of the issue that other schools face is, what if a parent just refuses to pay? Hey, I'm not paying, they're not paying, why should I pay? So it's a tough dilemma. I did the math on it based on what we collected this year. If you charged everybody equally, it would be $286. Our pay to play would be $286. We would collect the same amount that we collected this year with the full pay, with the free and the reduced. If everybody paid the same, did the math on it, we need to collect $286 per sport, which would be a significant savings over what we're paying now. But it would be an upcharge to those that are the last couple of years haven't been paying anything. So I don't know if the board is ready for that. So, my recommendation would be that we could either make a decision to everybody paying the same, or we could make a decision to lower our pay to play and then authorize me to dig into the whole free and reduced. And even if we do, right now we have a process. Our language is we may waive fees. We may. We've got the right to not in our current language. There's literally a Google form that people complete. They have to apply to have a fee waiver, and literally it's 3 questions. I'm full pay, I'm free, or I'm reduced. Those are the questions. You pick one of those, and that you're not going to get a waiver if you're not on free or reduced. And if you say you're free, you're getting a 100% waiver. If you say you're reduced, you're getting it was about 60% reduction. So we could potentially look at that, make that a little more stringent in terms of what we, and we don't have to do 100% or 0. We could do, you could perhaps offer bands of discounts based on your percentage of the poverty level. And again, it's not a popular topic. Or we could do what a lot of schools do, and that's everybody pays the same, and do a significant reduction. But you run the risk that you might be creating a barrier for some families. Nothing like the $500 barrier that was created when we first made the decision to go to this higher pay to play. So, and if we do nothing, then I assume everything stays the same, and we kick the can until next year. And that's kind of, it's late in the year. Scott's going to be meeting. 1st of August, we're going to start sports. We're going to start putting out information about pay to play. So, at some point we got to communicate what our desire and intention is. So, there's no agenda item. So, if the board wanted to act on this, there would have to be a motion to adopt. And like I said, I've been back and forth. I've run the numbers 3, 4, 5 different ways. I don't know what's best. Kevin ran some numbers. It was it looks nice. It's reduced it for the pay to play, and second sports a little less, and free and reduced a little less. And like I said, when I talked to Pam today, I had the bright idea. Let me run the numbers. If everybody paid, what would it be? $286.
And that would be paying for each sport they play. It's not no more. It wouldn't be any more. No
Third sport's free, no caps.
No caps.
We have very few 3-sport athletes through their senior year, but you have a lot in junior high.
Right.
You'll have a lot more in 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. But in the 11th and 12th, you see less of that because the kids specialize, and the demands of varsity level sports are so much more. So, but it would be a little bit of a roll of the dice if you wanted to, look at everybody pays. But like I said, the last time you did that, it was $500 to $500 free. You were collecting $1,000. If you went down to the $286 or $275, you'd be significantly reducing what families pay, but it could still be a barrier for those on free lunch. I don't have the answer for that. Would you like to talk to? You brought that whole thing up about looking at the free and reduced. What was your I know you got some feedback from community members about that, right? Or just aware of what other schools.
There's always a barrier. I mean, we pay for a lot of sports and a lot of Cordeliers ourselves in our own household. So
you're one of the 3-sport.
I mean, we get it completely. So, but also for me, I know any youth sport, like we said, even say soccer or t-ball, is $80 to $100. So my thought process was there, if you could reduce the fees to get, like you said, bolster more involvement and get numbers up, because I do feel extracurriculars, whether it be a sport or band or Cordelier or any of those activities, all in that handbook, do contribute to a positive educational experience. And I think a lot of them that are involved are, get more out of it than what they could even put into it. And I think all that is an investment. And so I think having some sort of buy-in, even if it is $100, $50, whatnot, doesn't go too far from what they were doing in the community in regards to any other activity or sport or extracurricular. So for me, that's where I struggled with a 500 to a 0. And, you know, running simple numbers, just like I did a number of times that you did with that. I mean, we've had every option under the sun looking at it.
Right.
I also am fiscally responsible as a board member, not wanting to have to reduce in what we're already a deficit at in spending and covering these expenses.
It'd be nice if we could create a system that would ensure that we're at least keeping the level comparable to what we are now, rather than adding another gotcha. You know, we've got a lot of those, but so it'd be nice to find a system that works. And again, you know, my thought was lowered enough that you increase participation, you offset the decrease. Never had really thought about the free and reduced, didn't know the history behind that either, looked into that a little bit.
Thank you.
Never would have guessed that we had 312 students that were paying no pay to play either. That was a little surprising to me. Far fewer reduced, but the frees were 312. It's a lot. So 156,000.
And I don't want any of those to be a barrier for participation. We're trying to increase participation, not discourage participation.
I think no matter what the board decides, there still could be a waiver process, but I think we need to really fine tune that. And you know, there's not a lot of accountability with applying for a free and reduced lunch unless it's through direct certification, because there's a little more teeth with direct certification, because that's kind of governed by the state. It's spot checked a little more. Everything else is kind of like the honor system. Not that people would lie about that, but you know, things change year to year, month to month, and so it's just not. I thought it would be a lot easier to have this conversation and discussion when we rolled it out. When I rolled it out about what can we get, you know, the whole point of this was engagement. You know, this was an engagement. We're trying to increase education. We're trying to tackle enrollment. We're trying to improve engagement. This was an engagement, and it also we thought maybe with enrollment, if our pay to play is better, you know.
I didn't even look. This was just a thought. I know we have fees for a number of our classes and courses. Is there a physical education fee associated in our handbook of fees?
Physical
Is
education
it?
fee? I don't think so. We just approved that. Do you know if this?
It's not.
It's not. Yeah, I didn't think so.
But the difference is that now is all of our students and employers paying sports that right now they don't have to take they get that way.
So another point that I was getting to was, you know, you don't even have to take that course in high school because you're taking those participations. But we have a lot of fees that are more than that $100 if you add up a couple of our course supplemental fees, you know, for books or other items. So I just think there's something worth, and like I said, I also don't compare the same way of someone participating in an activity to making sure all of our students get a good, wholesome, healthy meal. So, you know, I don't want to make that comparison either, but I do think there's some sort of an investment there that is acceptable in a lot of other activities in the community, not related to school, and I don't think that would hinder them to that point.
So the trick is finding the sweet spot.
So I don't really like the idea of making a decision here tonight when Amy's not present, because I know she's very opinionated on this. But I also don't like the idea of kicking the can down the road next month, because we're going to make a decision and you're going to have to roll it out in less than a week to get the fees out. So whether Amy's here or not, I feel like the responsible thing as a board is that we make some sort of decision tonight, just my opinion. And I think we need to kind of hash out what we're going to do with this. You know, when we first started having the conversation about pay to play fees at $500, I had a lot of conversation with community members that said there's no way it costs $500 for my kid to play football. And I said, you're absolutely right, because I ran the numbers. It costs $1,200 for your kid to play football. And about $700 of that is supplemented by taxpayer funds. So it does come at an expense to the district, and you know, to your point, I know Scott's called around, we're higher than a lot of neighboring districts, and you know, at one time there was discussion about making pay-to-play $900 per student, and I didn't like that idea at all. So you know, our whole strategy as a board, you know, since we started working with you, was to let's put our best version of Edgewood forward, and I do think, you know, I do think that we need to reduce pay-to-play fees. I don't think there's anything that we're going to do that's going to put us in a levy situation. I don't think there's anything we're going to do that's going to keep us out of a levy situation. So I think we need to kind of figure out, to your point, where that sweet spot is. I think that number needs to come down. I don't know what that number needs to come down to. I'm okay with 400. I'm okay with 350. Would really like to kind of see what that does with the numbers you said you ran. If you could kind of give us an idea what the distance, the difference and all that stuff is. We can maybe have some conversation around it. I do think, you know, the free and reduced, you know, I do think we need to relook that. I think there probably should be some cost associated with that. I don't know what that cost is. But one of the things that you said that I'm kind of concerned a little bit about is I don't think we need, as a district, I don't think we need to be screening. I think we need to have just a set policy, and it is what it is. I think that we take on a lot of extra work, and I think we could open ourselves up to some legal ramifications if we're deciding what the cost per student is based off the financial situation. I think we just need to say it is what it is.
And that's why, like, the legal opinion is make everybody equal. You know, that's a safer bet. But like you said, even if you, like, we're doing 0 and right now we're doing 0 and 300 are reduced. Our fee structure, full pay is $500. We have 52 students that pay reduced, which is $300, and we have 312 that pay nothing. That's based on current numbers, based on pages reports. So we collected $223,100 this year. If you lowered it to $400 pay to play, you would collect at the same number of full pay, $166,000. If you reduce and again, you can play with these numbers. You can plug in whatever you want. If you made reduce $250 instead of $350 deduction, because you get a $100 deduction for full, that would collect $13,000. And if you had the free students paying $150, that 312, if they all participated, did $150. That would be $46,800. You actually collect $225,800, so that would be very comparable, a little more than what you're collecting based on those numbers. If you did the 312, if you did the
and that was at 150 and 250 free and reduced.
That's at 150 free and reduced. If you did
And
100 free, I mean just free, 100, you would collect 31.2. The total would be 210,200. So it'd be about a $12,000, $13,000 less if you made the pay to play 100 instead of for free instead of 150. If you did the 350 full pay, that's 145,250, and then depending on what you did with the reduced and the free, say you did 250 and 100, you collect 189,450. So you'd be about 11,000, 33 to 34,000 what we collected this year. But like I said, I even thought about everybody paying the same. 286, everybody pays 286, you're exactly 223,100. So and that's a substantial, we haven't talked about in the twos.
So I think that number right there kind of puts it in perspective for me. So, and that, well, just before I go any further, those numbers, does that include band and corps?
Yeah, it doesn't include these. We have some 150s that some of the jazz bands, pep bands, winter percussion, winter guard, musicals, orchestra, corps, tech crew. There's some that are only paying 150. I didn't.
Because if you're paying 500 for marching band, to make you pay another $500 to do jazz?
Well, those don't travel. Those some of those are classes. Even if they're in marching band, we don't charge anything for those activities. If you weren't in marching band, we charge $150 because there is a supplemental associated with those, but no transportation, no pep band. There's no uniform, no transportation. They're not going to away games. You know what I'm saying? So, but there is a supplemental. So there was a little fee, but it was minor.
And this is assuming flat participation, not increased or
Right,
decreased
right.
based on any change in
Yeah,
that.
exactly. Your hope is, your desired outcome is whatever change you make increases participation.
So enrollment projections show us declining. I think at this point for participation, we should just really kind of hope for a flat. And if it goes above that, I think that's a bonus. So if that 286 that you said was kind of the average, if everybody paid the same, I kind of think, you know, a 350 and a 250, you know, 350 regular, a 250 free and reduced. If I heard you correctly, that you said that kind of puts us at about the same.
No, that would be on the sheet I gave you last month. That would be option B, 350 and 415 and 415, which is how many paid full. That's 145, 250. 52 reduced paid 250. That's 13, and 312 the free paid 100. That's 31.2. That totals 189, 450. The number that we collected this year, based on our current fee structure, was 223, 100. So that'd be about 34,000 less than what we collected.
And for simple math, my mind, and maybe it's my simple brain or my type A, I got books, everything, 400, 200, 100. So we said our initial goals were everybody wanted to reduce the pay to play or pay to participate fee. That reduces the ones currently paying $100. And the ones paying zero would pay $100, and you're at 208.
Third free.
Yeah.
We didn't associate any of those numbers in that.
And again, these numbers are what Paige gave me based on receipts, because she does it. Patty's got different numbers again, but as long as we're looking at apples and apples, it's going to, you know what I'm saying? If you're doing a comparison to what impact, if these numbers, you know, that's what I'm going based on the numbers I was getting.
So you said your number's 400 and 400 normal, 100.
400, 200, 100.
Okay, 400, 200. 200 is reduced, 100 is free.
Did you do the math on that, Kevin?
Yep, 207, 600.
Okay, so you're right.
Is that your, so I'm assuming that's your recommendation?
That, when we first initially talked about this, wanted to reduce the overall fee, but still have some contribution, and it's simplified to be even round numbers. Everyone paying in the past so many years would get at least $100 per activity reduction, which was a goal, and it was still pretty close to equating, based on those flat numbers, to pretty close to what we had collected.
Which family with multiple kids doing multiple sports, that's a pretty significant savings.
Was your suggestion to do third sport free?
I was just doing the numbers. I didn't look at all the other qualifiers.
You gotta take that into consideration,
Yeah,
because
that's a
if
big
you don't do third sport free, see, then 400 is 1,200. You're paying 200 more than they're paying now, with
Yep.
5 is free.
Correct.
And again, I think in junior high and early grades of high school, you'll see more 3-sport athletes than you will junior, senior year. I think we only had, Scotty told me, I think we only had 3 4-year 3-sport athletes. Your son being one of them, but,
Only 3.
I'm sorry?
Only 3.
Yeah.
Are you prepared to make a recommendation to us tonight on what you think we should do?
No, sure. I've got too many recommendations. My mind's spinning. I like the, I like the 286.
I'm fine.
Everybody pays the same, but then I don't know that that's gonna be.
That was with how many
enough
they
area
paid right last year.
That was the last 4 years of paying nothing.
Times.
So I'd have to play with the math again.
Because that number 415 full pay, that took that into account, right? You had 415 full payments.
Right.
So
15 families.
in the math that we all suggested, that you're assuming third sport free, because we all use that 415
Right.
full pay
Right.
receipts.
Right. I don't know how many that's why I called Scott today. I don't know how many paid a third sport because it could have been their $500 could have been their first or second. There's no third sport. There's no receipt on the third sport right now.
Does Cordeliers get included into that third activity?
Yes.
And I know in middle school there's a lot of three-sport athletes. Kids they do football, basketball, track, a lot of stuff. And to further complicate things, a lot of schools that we compared have a high school fee structure and a lower junior high fee structure. That's pretty common in Scott.
Yes. So there's games. They're not those ones.
Shorter season.
And there's something else for
Again, that just makes it even more difficult to.
How bad does it mess you up, Scott, if we wait till the next meeting to vote on something in terms of?
Here, July is, I mean, what we said there, you get that family that's been free all this time, all of a sudden, now you say.
They
Well,
start.
I mean, it's always those things, changing dates. We've always worked with Patty and Paige, I've always worked with, Spike was here. Hey, when does that sports start? So August 1st is the majority of the fall sports. We've always tied the date, participate was due on picture day for every team, just kind of kept everything. So that would be August 7th. We could bump that back to August 28th. To give families a full month, because the next board meeting is July 20.
School change, 20
Now, you give families a full month, it just, we gotta play with that date, when we're gonna say this stuff's due now.
That should be
Every
special
sport
in the
would
middle of
be-
July.
Every sport would be started and played a competition. At that point, you'd be collecting money after the fact, we always try to collect it.
But they've already, they're getting reps, Scott, but they're already started.
Yes, I mean, that's.
So they're already first, and you put something on Long State, they're gonna be like every kid.
So I almost kind of feel like we need to do something tonight, or we almost need to keep it the way that it is, unless we're going to do an emergency board meeting, and which honestly I don't want to keep it the way it is. I want to reduce it. So, but I don't think we're in a point where we can do that. I mean, unless somebody sees something that I don't, I would like to reduce it.
Here, Mr. Paul was filled by me, as a parent, it's got $3 to do 3 sports, but, they're going back to me now. I agree on something, change. I mean, if you tell me, hey, your girl's going to have to pay $300 for all 3 sports, that's still savings to us. They're going to pay for all $300. Your free and reduced is going to go to $200, which that's $100 savings to those families, and free goes to $100. Everybody's got a buy-in now. That's even
And I
free
really-
family.
I'm sorry.
Even free families, I mean, it's $300 for the year. If you reduce families, you're still in that, they're getting the savings now for all 3 sports, and those families that have 3 sport athletes are getting the save what we're paying for all 3.
And I really still do feel that, like, if there is a family about a reduced lunch that can't swing it, if a coach knows it, I am confident with the way our community is, people would step up to provide a scholarship, whatever you want to call it. I really do think they would do that. Because
I agree.
I just think that's our
practice.
community, and our community, I think, I feel like just what times I've been out and about doing community things, I think the community, that sense of community that we have longed for is starting to come back. And I think that the people are supportive.
Well, you can almost just pick something you feel good about and let it play out, and then adjust it next year. You're gonna. Hopefully, whatever you do is best for families, best for kids, and if it's not gonna make or break us one way or the other. But like what I heard Scott say, $300 per sport, no third sport free.
Yeah.
So you only have a handful, so it'll still be $100 savings.
Yeah.
And then 200, did you say 200 for the reduced?
Which is $100 savings.
$100 savings and 100 for the free.
Yeah.
I can't run a scenario because I don't know how many kids are not paying for that third sport. Do you worry that would drive down third sport participation or not?
No, because I still think those families, you already paid for the first 2, and if you've been $1,000 in now, you're only going to be $900 in by paying for that third sport, but you're still getting savings as a family.
And you don't want to make it too difficult to manage, because you could do a third sport discount, because, you know what I'm saying, I guess it's 300 first sport, 300 second sport. third sport, maybe do a third sport discount, $200 instead of $300, because then you got another thing to keep track of.
Yeah,
Do any of the scenarios that you ran numbers on closely resemble that enough that we could at least get an idea of whether we would, how we would fare in terms of?
Like I said, I've got to get to the same cash that I'm using with my numbers. 400, 250, and 150 actually exceeds the number. If you did 400, 250, and in this scenario it would be 400, 400 and free. It would be third sport free. 400. I had thought about all three sports paying except for the 286. That's what I did the math on, and that could actually even be better than that, because I don't know how many of those I did the 286 based on these numbers. I don't know how many of those kids didn't pay a dime that I might have counted. There could be more than the 415, 312, 792, or whatever the total number of participants is, because I don't know who did third sport, but it was 210-2 at 400, 250, and 100. That's very comparable to what you did, right?
400, 200, 100.
You did 200. I did 400, 250, and 100.
I'm looking at the sheet here, it's not, I messed that wrong one, but what does reduce pay now?
350. No,
they
it'd
pay
be 300.
300 per sport, the third one free?
I'm assuming that our current structure is third sports free. It'd be the same for reduced.
Okay.
Right, Scott?
Correct.
So if you went 400, 400, 400, what was the second recommendation for reduced? 250? What was the number you had?
You could do 250, 200. I ran 250. I didn't run
Okay, so you went
200, but
400,
I
400 free, 250, 250 free, 100, 100 free. You had that scenario laid out like that.
I've got 250, and I've got 400, 250, and 100.
None of these scenarios know how many the third sport was free.
Yeah, that's what I don't know. That's the missing factors.
That's
I don't know
the
how
factor
many-
we do not.
But none of these scenarios cost a kid more money
It all costs less.
than what they were paying last year if they were a three-sport athlete paying for two.
Yes.
So if you have three sport athletes, they're gonna save, that family will save money, and in theory, we would bring in more revenue.
No,
Because
option A and my option I put forth, both would be if you take away the third sport free is $1,200 versus two sports.
Scott's idea would be to charge for the third sport, but it would still be a savings. You lowered enough that three sports is still a savings over the 500, 500.
I got 350 in my head, which is slightly more. That's the number I had in my head as we started talking about this, but.
Yeah, so if I did that, I would still be saving, if my girls have to pay $3 for every sport, or not have to be saving $100 for each girl, and it's $300 we're saving, so we're paying it back. The money we're saving, we're paying for one of the places, that third sport anyway, but we're still paying the full money.
So it's 3, 2, and 1 basically.
Yeah.
And you're
But
paying
we're
for every
collecting more
sport.
free at that point.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
Corey said,
yeah.
we had a great community when we first hit that $500.
It's got potential to generate more money.
The alumni,
3-2
did a great job.
Yeah, there's only the third sport.
I'm okay if,
It's
like I
a
said,
shot in the dark.
I mean, we really don't know what is gonna happen. We don't know how many are gonna participate, but I had a conversation with Scott earlier today and said, hey, I kinda heard numbers were down for sports next year. Have you heard anything about that? He ran the numbers and it looks like the numbers are up, so.
And our girls golf team sent with 11 girls who's gonna try to work.
Jeff, you got an opinion on it?
Girls soccer program.
So it looks like we're on a trajectory, we're gonna have increased participation, and most of these families think they're paying 500, so, you know,
They'll take a deep breath if we only do,
so, I mean, I feel like we gotta do something tonight where we keep it the way it is, because I think it's too late in the game.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
And I don't like doing this with Amy not here, but I don't wanna cause another.
So with current numbers at 300, 200, 100, that generates 166.
But what you don't know, the X factor is third sport.
maybe we'll bring the third sport, maybe something.
When you ran the other numbers, what was the total? You said 166, what was the total?
400, 200, 100, 2076.
So it's about a $40,000 difference if the numbers stay the same.
Correct.
Let me make sure I understand. That is That does not include pay, that includes not paying for it.
That includes 415 receipts paid fully last year.
It's just the same thing, you pay for free.
Correct,
don't-
that's what I'm saying, I don't know how many of those did or did not, but I'm saying it's the same number.
So you, okay.
But in middle school, we do know there was more kids that played a third sport.
Correct, but it's still the same number of receipts.
So what's
Per
your,
group.
Theory yours has a free sport.
you split the difference on the
Because
full.
it's 415.
We're talking there between three, I mean, I think, kind of sounds like we're in agreement on 100 and 200.
So to me, to achieve the goal, in my mind, if you look at that analysis, you either do 3-2-1, no third sport free, or you do 4-2-1, third sport free. And in theory, if you use the same number of receipts, they would come out about even. Not knowing your participation, hopefully, as we all stated, we want to increase.
You don't have any idea of how many third sports were given for free, do you, Scott?
Third sports, I mean, off the top of my head, like you said, I mean, I ran, after you and I talked, I mean, I looked at it, our freshman group was our biggest group, there was 19 girls that played three, we're involved in three activities on the six sports, whatever, there was about 19 of them, freshmen that did three, 16 of them, freshmen did, that did three.
Can you split the difference real quick?
So that's 35 in ninth grade.
352.
That was our biggest group, like I said, the seniors got down to three.
No third sport free.
Yep. Well, I haven't assumed any.
I'm having to split the difference on the 300 and the 400 at 350, 200, and 100, see what those numbers show.
200 times 50.
186, 850.
So you're talking a difference of $20,000.
You're looking at not paying for the third sport, correct?
No, that's paying for all three, right? That's how you had it figured out.
None of these figured any third sport.
That's why I like Scott's proposal, because it's got more potential for the third sport.
Because these were not participants. These are paid
receipts.
receipts.
So you're going 3-2-1, is that what you're talking about? And you're paying for all three sports.
So actually your number would be more.
Well, he just said there's 35, almost 40 ninth graders that did three sports. I guarantee you there's as many in the middle school in each grade. It probably gets less, it probably goes down every year up, but.
The 415, the 52, and the 312 were paid receipts. So obviously if the third sport was free, you would not have a paid receipt.
And I talked to Ms. H.R. and Lori and I already talked going into this year. We had a great spreadsheet that Paige came up with, it was great. This year we're gonna create that spreadsheet per sport, first season, middle school, high school, so we can actually start seeing those.
And thinking about this, in my opinion, not wanting to have a hindrance to a free and reduced, having to pay a third one, because then they would be paying more. For that reason, I would suggest the 4, 2, and 1 with the third sport still free. That way the minimum that a free or reduced is not paying 3 sports. Because I bet a lot of them being free did 3 sports.
That still is a savings to everybody, right?
Correct.
It's a savings.
Yes.
I think I could agree to that tonight, and if it doesn't work, or we need to change it, we can change it again in a year, but I think that's at least it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
Is that 4-2-1, Kevin, is that what you said? That's, I mean, that's huge too, because our reduced kids, that's $100 savings. I feel that's kind of where we've lost some of those kids that were on that reduced side, because that was still $300 for those parents, that was $600 for the year to get that third free. That those were kind of the families that we were kind of missing, was those middle of the road kind of families had to make that decision that they $600, we're now, hey, we're only going to do $400.
Where if someone was used to paying 0 and all of a sudden they have to pay $300 to do 3 sports, that's going to be a substantial when we don't want to create that barrier. In my opinion.
I agree.
I think it's a step in the right direction. It may not be where we end up, but I think it's definitely a move. We're moving in the right direction to make it more affordable. Nobody's cost goes up. with the exception of the free.
Theirs goes up.
Theirs goes up.
But as far as those families, we have a great support system. Those kids not going to get a chance to play sports.
So the 4-2-1
With third sport free.
third sport free, less, what we're hoping for is increased participation because you're not going to get any revenue out of the third sport. 2076, is that the math you ran?
Yes, sir.
So, I mean, 223.1, which I know Patty's numbers are different, but again, it's just we're comparing apples to apples. I mean, that's just a bad Friday in the Edgewood School District. 15,000. It's just one busted pipe can cause that.
I just want to share with you though, because our numbers are different. Activity fees have a specific receipt code, it's 1690. When I pull from 7/1 of 25 to today, I can tell you we have collected $289,618 in activity fees. When I back that up and I look last year from 7/1 to June, we collected 310. And the year prior to that, 7/1 to June, we collected 412,720. So what we've done all along, we have reduced revenue. And
Whether it's through declining enrollment or
whatever it is,
the free reduced.
yeah, the revenue has continued to go down. And I'm not telling you what to do. I don't want these kids to pay at all. I wish we did not have to do this. This is
We're gonna get to that.
hard.
We're gonna get
Yeah,
to
we'll
that.
get there.
The other math I did, Scott, you mentioned it was some of those mid-tier families, we may have been struggling to get to that second sport or to that even third sport in some regards, but doing the math, that's another 37.5 paid participants. So would $100 for every activity get you savings, get you to another 35, 40 kids willing to participate, or one kid participating 2 more times, or whatever that may be. I think the whole goal is there to try to reduce that fee to increase participation.
Yeah, and you just don't know what that magic number is for families.
But we know doing what we're doing, we're still going down.
Well, we know we're going down, but we're making a decision to go down to take the burden off of families.
Well, I meant if we currently leave our fee structure the way it is, we've continually reduced our funding, even with the 500, the
We have,
300.
and even though it's gradually increased, but our enrollment's gone down. So that's another reason.
Yes.
That right there was when everybody was paying 500. These last 2 years, and the number of athletes from this year to this year went up. We had more athletes this year, even though you made more money.
Right.
So I bet more kids that were on free lunch were participating in activities than they did the year before, because it was new. I don't know why, because we got more, based on Scott's participation numbers, it was really low there, and then went up, and it went up.
Yeah.
Would we be comfortable making a motion tonight to go to 400, 200, and 100?
Third sport free.
Third sport free?
Yes.
And so,
Keeping all the other things the same as they were prior to the 150, the 150.
yeah, all that other stuff stays the same.
Okay, so if they're in marching band, those jazz bands or whatever are free. If they're not, there's a 150 fee for those. Just like
Right.
what I've been doing.
Yes.
Okay.
What do you think about that, Scott?
I can hear.
400, 200, 100, third sport free, is that moving in the right direction?
I think so.
Because based off of the numbers, it puts us pretty close to where we thought we wanted to be anyway.
I guess all those other ones, just to clarify, all your winter percussion guard, musical, whirler band, all those ones that were 150, if they were on free and reduced, was it 0?
Yes.
Yeah.
They were zero.
So
The
if
pet band
they,
was only, like Mr. I said, the pet band, the only reason you got this kind of, you had to be a marching band. You had to be a marching band.
No, if they're paying for another activity, that's perfectly fine, but.
While you guys are on, what I'm gonna bring up is that quarterly tech crew. Mr. Paul, I know you're part of that, we're charging these kids to work. In my view, when we really think about that tech crew, that they're not out there showing, they're not singing, dancing, they're setting up the stage, working their butts off and we charge these kids to be behind the scenes. They're the ones that's getting the stuff off the stage, getting the stuff set up, and we didn't charge these kids.
We need to relook that.
Get rid of it.
To be.
I feel like what about cross country?
They don't get any labor, I mean, besides, the parents love them, that do, I mean, we're charging these kids to actually serve. But
They do a lot.
Get rid of it.
They travel with them everywhere they go. They do a
I
ton.
can take that.
I'm just sorry.
We've got no sales people like Phil. They've already got the sale.
Those kids, I mean, that'd be volunteer hours for, National Honor Society, and we're charging these kids under $50,
That's a valid point. And honestly, I didn't know that till just now, so. All right, so
He would ask you.
I can make a motion right now, right, to add it to the agenda.
Yes.
So I'd like to make a motion that we add to the agenda the pay-to-play fees changing as such. Regular is $400, reduced lunch is $200, free lunch goes to $100, third sport is free, and everything else stays the same,
With the exception of quarterly tech group.
with the exception of Corridor Tech Group. Can I get a motion?
So
Mr. Kevin Fall, can I get a second?
Second.
Mrs. Lori Barnes. Any discussion?
I would just ask that when coaches know that there's a kid that can't, that they immediately let they let their coach know, the coach lets Scott know, so that we can work to make sure that kid plays. That's what I'm saying.
Any more discussion? Mrs. Towers, if you call roll, please.
Mr. Kevin Fall,
yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes.
Yes.
Mr. John Thomas.
Yes.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
So the next, anything else, Curtis?
No, that's all I had, thank you.
Next item of business on the agenda is items from board members. Mr. Thomas?
No, I just want to say, one thing here. I mean, looking back 4, 5, 6 months ago or whatever, I keep this with me all the time, the work session we did. I want to compliment you too, and as well as many others that were involved as far as putting things in place. Daddy, great job with the financials, and you coming to year end, almost spot on where you had us the whole bit. Actually, I think we may be a little bit more positive, so I think just want to compliment you guys for that job, but I want to also remind schools getting ready to start, and right, administrators here, key word in the next year is accountability. We're all accountable. This thing's going to rock. We've got test scores, we've got enrollment, we've talked about all these things. Got the processes in place now, and now it's time to implement. So accountability will be key as we move forward.
Mr. Fall?
No, there's, from my section of legislative and state budget, there were no big announcements or articles that came out, so I don't have anything from the last time we had discussed those items and some of the bills and some of the state funding things that were out there. Just keep a watchful eye on the news, we'll be looking.
I have a couple of things that was shared with me about curriculum. This fall, we will have 2 chemistry programs at EHS that will use Cengage. They're piloting it, I believe, and that is just an educational platform that's used to deliver like digital textbooks, homework quizzes, other course materials, etc. And we do have some math teachers who are taking training for mathematics modeling and reasoning. And I'm assuming, are those elementary, middle school teachers, or high school teachers? High school teachers, perfect. And that they're in the process of, hiring people still, which, one would, be a math teacher, and then a TESOL teacher, which is like teachers educating students that, speak other languages, and a special education teacher. So good luck with that. You guys just keep plugging away. You'll get somebody.
So, in the 5 years I've been on this board, I don't know that I've ever seen an agenda this long, and I just wanted to highlight that because everything that was on here, there's a tremendous amount of work that's involved in this, and you know, it's June, it's the middle of summer, and not everybody realizes that there are people in here putting in hard work each and every day. We've got 3 principals here, curriculum director, and multiple administrators, athletic director. We've got our incoming basketball coach who's here with us tonight. We've got some really hard work that's being done in our science department. It was evident with the presentation, the discussion that she brought to the table tonight. I know that you guys are putting in a tremendous amount of hours, especially you, Patty. We talk about that quite a bit. So there's just a lot of folks out there that don't realize all this hard work is going on. And for anybody that's watching this meeting at home, there's a tremendous amount of work that went in here. We're talking about everything from grants to quotes to projects and all that stuff. So I personally recognize that I always have, and just wanted to say thank you guys for all the hard work that you put in behind the scenes. And super excited about announcing a new basketball coach here in just a little while. So that's really all that I've got. Anything you guys want to add before we kind of wrap this up? All right, so we're going to go ahead and go into the 8th item of business, which is executive session. We're going into executive session for the purpose of to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official, or the investigation of charges or complaints against a public employee, official, licensee, or regulated individual, unless the employee, official, licensee, or regulated individual requests a public hearing by division. To consider the purchase of property, both real and personal, tangible or intangible, or to consider the sale of property. I just got to say number 1.
Yep.
Okay. So we're not even looking for that last part, just the first part. So it's been a little while since I've done this. And I don't remember all that being on there last time. So anyway, we're going to go into executive session. I'm going to go ahead and look for a motion to take us to executive session.
So moved.
Mr. John Thomas, can I get a second?
Second.
Mrs. Lori Barnes. The time is 8:12. I don't anticipate there being really anything significant on the back end of executive session. So for those of y'all that are here tonight supporting the district and the Board of Education, we appreciate y'all. Have a great night, and we'll see you in July.
Roll call. Roll call.
Oh, roll call.
Shelley. Shelley.
Yes.
Mr. John Thomas?
Shelley. Yes.
Mr. Kevin Ball?
Yes.
Mr. Mark Measures?
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
The time is 9:57 p.m. The date is June the 29th. We are returning back from executive session, and we will go ahead and visit the number 9 agenda items, personnel items. So the first thing I'm looking for is a motion to approve the administration, certified, classified, exempt, and supplemental nominations.
So moved.
Mr. Kevin Fall, can I get a second?
Second.
Mr. John Thomas, any discussion? Mrs. Bowers, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Kevin Ball?
Yes.
Mr. John Thomas?
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes?
Yes.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt?
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Okay, so at this time, I'm looking for a motion to approve item B, administration, certified, classified, exempt, and supplemental nominations.
I'll make a motion, please.
Mrs. Lori Barnes, can I get a second? It's got to be you, John.
John.
Yeah, it's going to be second.
Mr. John Thomas. Any discussion? All right, Mrs. Bowers, would you call the roll, please?
Mrs. Lori Barnes?
Yes.
Mr. John Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Kevin Fall?
Abstain.
This time, item C, FY27 administrative salaries.
So moved.
Mr. John Thomas, can I get a second?
Second.
Mr. Kevin Fall, any discussion? Mrs. Bowers, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. John Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Kevin Fall?
Yes.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes.
Yes.
At this time, I'm looking for a motion to approve the FY 27 exempt salaries.
So moved.
Mr. Kevin Fall. Can I get a second? Mrs. Lori Barnes. Any discussion? Mrs. Bowers, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Kevin Fall.
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes.
Yes.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Mr. John Thomas.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
All right, and I'm looking for item E, I'm looking for a motion to approve the FY 27 classified salaries.
So moved.
Mr. John Thomas, looking for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Lori Barnes, any discussion?
No, I'm good.
No discussion. Mrs. Bowers, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. John Thomas.
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes.
Yes.
Mr. Kevin Fall.
Yes.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
This time we'll move into agenda item number 10, and that is adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, first is Mr. Kevin Fall, second is Mr. John Thomas. Any discussion? We've talked enough. Mrs. Bowers, would you call roll, please?
Mr. Kevin Fall.
Yes.
Mr. John Thomas.
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes.
Yes.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.